ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलाम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजाः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। We are in chapter 51 of Sundara Kanda. We have covered up to 25 verses. This chapter is the warning given by Hanuman to Ravana. And there is in the philosophical level, or this philosophical perspective, is the spiritual master instructing the mind. So think of it as Manas Siksha from the Ramayana's perspective. Although the topic is being dealt with is about acting according to dharma. The rasa in this chapter and in section that we're going to talk about is Virya rasa from Hanuman's side. It is meant to evoke within Ravana some sort of fear, bhaya. So Virya and Bhayanaka rasas are meant to be together. However, at the end of the chapter, we don't see Ravana becoming frightened. Ravana becomes angry. Because when there is Virya, on the other side, there should be Virya Rasa back. So then the two personalities have a good match of Kshatriya spirit. Or it should be Bhaya, so that person can back off. Or in this case, it will be Krodha, which will incite a lot of Virya in Ravana. But that Virya is coming from a very insecure place. Hanuman, being an expert ambassador on behalf of Sri Ramachandra and Sugriva, uses Sama, Dama, and Bheda. The Sama, Danda, and the Dana, in the sense that he doesn't necessarily tell him, take this. The Dana part is, you live your life, let Ramachandra live his life. So it's a mix of Sama and Dana. However, the tone from a simple warning, from caution to warning, is now becoming a threat. Hanumanji last week told Ravana that Sita is like a 5-hooded female cobra that you have kept close to you, and you're thinking you're going to enjoy with her, but she's going to sting you and you're going to die. She is death personified for you because you have appropriated someone that does not belong to you. You've crossed that line of dharma. And then he says she's also like the poison, even if little bit in food cannot be digested. So you're thinking, oh, the amount of enjoyment I will have with Sita Devi, she's like the poison in your food, meaning you're not able to digest it. Your death is imminent if you don't correct your ways. And today's discussion is about Papa and Punya, uh, saintly behavior and non-saintly behavior, or dharma and adharma, acting within the codes of dharma and violating them or acting outside of them. And so Hanuman first begins with telling Ravana, listen, Ravana, look at the place you're sitting on this throne. The demigods are afraid of you. Kubera doesn't even come close to you. You're enjoying the exploits of the wealth collected by Kubera. You have his Pushpaka Vimana. You're sitting on this throne. Everybody is afraid of you in the universe. They don't come to bother you. They stay out of anywhere you might be. So you're enjoying this kind of unparalleled, unthreatened sovereignty owing to the strength of your tapasya. You've acquired it. And he says, tapa santapa labhyate, labhaste. You have got this from the power of your austerity, your tapasya. And so you're enjoying worldly delights like nobody's business. However, remember that just because you're enjoying the exploits of tapasya, if it encourages you to act in ways that are violating dharma, then you are hurting your own self, which Ravana has already done. But it's good advice that, see, up until this point, Ravana, somehow your dharmic behavior, your tapasya, has protected you. But right now, you are in that place where dharma or the fruit of your dharma cannot protect you anymore. Because of that tapasya that you have performed, you know you cannot be killed by any of the asuras, danavas, or any celestial being, whether they are in Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahar, Tapa, Jana, Satyaloka, they cannot kill you. So, great. However, because you have kept Sita Devi in captivity in your home, that may be the reason that you will die. Somebody's mic is on. Can you please turn it off or mute it? He says, you see, Sugriva, he's not a Danava. He's not a Rakshasa. He's not a Gandharva or Yaksha or anybody. He is just a Vanara. So question is, can you save yourself from Sugriva? And this is that famous set of verses that dharma and adharma work in such a way that they don't cancel each other. For example, if I perform some adharmic activity, I cannot say, oh, let me now do some dharmic activity so that the effect of adharma will be nullified. Sorry, Ravana. Doesn't work like that. Both come to you. However, at that certain point in time, it is the strength of dharma or adharma that supersedes. Whichever is stronger, that supersedes. For example, somebody may have performed a lot of dharmic activities by which they have access to a lot of wealth and money. But by their adharmic behavior, all of that money can be burnt away in bad health, or it may be locked up in certain properties or something where you have no access to that wealth, even if you need it, or in some different ways in which there is a constant flow, cash flow out, big, massive expenses that you have not expected just keep going because there is adharma also acting. However, if the adharma becomes so strong that it cannot stop dharma, but it can seem to overcast, cast a shadow of such a extent and degree that you have no access to the fruit of dharma. So Ravana, up until this time, all your adharma activities, although significant, have been overshadowed or protected by the tapasya that you have done. But the day you kidnapped Sita from Ramachandra's presence, from that day on, your adharma has become multifold. It has become so significant that now all of your dharma or the fruits of your dharma cannot come to protect you. Praptam dharma phalam tavat bhavata na atra samshayah. Phalam asyapya dharmasya kshiprameva prapatsayase. So, dharma that you have, or the merit, the punya, the positive credits that you have earned, no doubt, they're very strong. But your adharma has now become so big that those fruits will become inaccessible for you. Now, you remember in Janasthan how Khara, Doshana, Trishira, 14,000 demons were killed by Ramachandra. You also know about the friendship between Ramachandra and Sugriva. Because Ravana must have heard some, at least Hanumanji is saying, you must have heard about it. Now that you know, and I'm telling you that Vali was killed by one arrow because Rama and Sugriva have made friendship, now is the time you must decide on what's the right thing for you to do is. Sometimes people say, I didn't have enough information by which to make a certain decision. Possible. Nobody has full perspective on the present. Hindsight is always 20/20 vision. We can see this is 20/20 vision. In the present, people don't have 20/20 vision, possibly. Because that's just the nature of life, because whatever circumstance they're facing is so close, up close, that the ability to consider a big picture, broad view is difficult. That's just how it is. But now that you know, I've given you this information, be careful. Rama Sugriva Sakhyam cha Buddhasva hitama hitaman hitam atmana. Now consider Buddhasva, think carefully, use your intelligence on how you can act in such a way that your state is not like Vali's. Now, Ravana, you are this far away from death. These are not verses, okay? I'm just giving commentary on it. These are not exactly the verses. He says, you're this far away from destruction of Lanka and your own self, because I'm here. And I have such strength that I can easily finish off all your horses, your chariots, your elephants, your army, including you, and the entire Lanka and you. There's no problem. It's very easy. The only thing that is stopping me, that's between me and the killing and destruction of your entire property and yourself, is that I have not received the green signal from Sri Ramachandra. That is the only reason. Now, this is being spoken in one way to show Ravana the contrast. That Ravana, you have not considered the words of higher authorities when you acted in a certain way. I'm here, I am at least equal to you. Actually, I'm stronger than you, but at least, let's say, and I have the power to destroy everything here, but I don't cross the line if I've not been given the order by my superior, Sri Ramachandran. Every being is meant to be within the boundary of dharma, and that boundary is dharma. We say the Vedas in general, because the Vedas are nothing but the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So as long as I put boundaries around myself, that these are boundaries given by the Supreme Lord that I will not cross, I'm invincible. A person who crosses the boundary becomes vulnerable to papa, sin, to aparadh, offenses, and becomes nashta, destroyed. Now, for Ravana to absorb these instructions, there has to be one thing. He has to have an attraction for Hanuman, which he doesn't have. Because in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse number 1, very famous verse, Prabhupada has quoted this verse probably the most. Krishna tells Arjuna, Mai asakta manah partha. Mai asakta manah partha. O Arjuna, son of Kunti Devi. Yogam yunjam madashrayaha. Be fully connected to me. Mad ashraya. Under my jurisdiction, or under my direction, under my guidance, if you will. Asamshayan samagram mam yathajnasasi tachun. Asamshayam. So all your doubts are like demons that bring us very close to the boundary of dharma and then help us step out. And here Krishna says, if you hear with your heart attached to me, then you will not go near the boundary. In fact, you will not even cross it. Forget it. You won't even go near the boundary. Asamshayam samagram. For that asamshayam condition, Krishna states, what you need to do, Arjuna, is Mai asakta manaha. That's one. Your mind should be fully attached to me. And yogam yunjan madashrayam. Yunjan, you engage yourself in mad ashraya, if of constantly being in this consciousness that I am a servant of Sri Ramachandra, of Sri Krishna, then this path of self-realization will be free of doubts. And not just, will I have one or two doubts? No. Asamshayam samagram, completely. There will be no doubts of any kind at all. However, Ravana neither is not fulfilling either of these two conditions for him to hear. So let's take it from an application perspective. When we hear the instructions of gurus, one of the reasons that we don't, the heart doesn't move of a person is because there is no yogam yunjan madashraya. And this asakta mana, without attachment to the spiritual master, the instructions don't enter the heart. Now, attachment can be official. Official in the sense, I do the activities of Guru Puja and, speak to people of how wonderful my Guru is and how much he means to me, etc. That's official. Asakta mana is, we know the strength of that connection on ourselves. Nobody needs to tell us. Nobody can assess it. We know for ourselves. It's not possible that I can say we operate in binaries. I have no attachment to my. We feel those are statements of humility. It's not possible that we have no attachment. It is possible we have something that keeps us in the relationship, but we only have enough. It's not something that makes the relationship necessarily strong. And if it is there, great. However, in many cases, the relationship is not strong. It is enough to not break it. It is there. But Krishna says, Maya asakta manaha. Mind is completely attached in love, in affection, in gratitude to the spiritual master. And that, for Krishna doesn't say, oh, you flip a switch and it happens. No. Yunjan, you have to practice it. You cultivate it every day. Dhyam stuvam yashastri sandhyam. And because Ravana doesn't have it, or the conditioned mind doesn't have that affection and attachment, it's hard to receive the instructions fully. So Hanuman says, Ramena hi pratigyatam haryaksha gana sannidhau. Ramachandra made a vow in the presence of all the Vanaras and the bears. What did he make a vow? Utsadanam. Utsadanam. That he will eliminate anybody who is the cause for tormenting Sita Devi. So the mind, the conditioned mind that torments the Atma, there is a vow by the Lord that he will remove it. So we may have doubts. Oh, will the Supreme Lord take care of me? Or will I ever become fully Krishna conscious? Yes, we will. From our side, like Sita Devi is doing, she's constantly remembering, reciting the names of, and is very determined that only Ramachandra, nothing else. And that way, the conditioned mind becomes weaker and weaker, and Ramachandra can eliminate or remove the effect of the mind. So he has made a vow. And Ravana, just so that you know, even Indra, if he has offended Sri Ramachandra, he cannot survive in Swargaloka. If Indra cannot survive, who are you? You're nobody. Sita Devi is not some ordinary lady. In fact, she is the energy of time that will bring the destruction of Lanka, because she has the potency to destroy all of creation. So Lanka is nothing. You should know this. Kala Ratri Tam Vidhi. Kala Ratri. That darkness, the time when it comes to such a point where the entire creation has to be destroyed, it is that Shakti. Sarva Lanka Vinashinim. The entire Lanka will be destroyed. In fact, these are all prophetic words. We don't know yet that what's coming up, that the Lanka Dahanam, the whole burning of Lanka, it has not happened yet, but the wisdom of Hanuman is that he can see in the future. That's the wisdom of any great personality, that looking at a person's behavior, they can say, oh, the outcome is not going to be either beneficial to you or not beneficial to you. The story of the great Kalidasa, that before he became Kalidasa Rishi or Muni or Kavi, he was a very dull-headed, a very simple shepherd. One day, he wanted to feed leaves to his goats. And so he saw that on a tree, up on a tree, there is a branch with very fresh leaves. So he got up on the branch, sat on the branch, and with his axe was chopping the branch that he was sitting on and was connected to the trunk of the tree. So somebody who was walking by, looked and said, "Hey, are you crazy? You know, if you keep chopping like that, you will fall on the ground and perhaps kill yourself or hurt yourself." He said, How do you know? You have some ability to look into the future?" And kept on chopping and fell on the ground and said, "Wow, how is that possible that you can see in the future?" It is because this person who's not on the branch is away from the situation and is seeing. So the words of the Guru is such that they can tell what the future will look like if a person doesn't change the course of their actions, or when they change the course of their actions, what's going to come. Because they have what is called Loka Tattva Vichakshana. They know, they can see. They're called Krishna calls them that they are the seers. They can see. So Sita was compared to a five-hooded cobra, female cobra, to poison that cannot be digested. The Kalaratri, the energy that can bring about dissolution of creation. And now Hanuman says, Sita is like the hangman's noose that is around your neck right now. And when a person needs to be hanged, the hangman will put the noose. But Ravana, you're so foolish. You've put the noose around your own neck. So think about your welfare. Swayam skandhavasaktena kshemam atmani chintayatam. Kshemam atmani chintayatam. Please think about your own safety. Please think about how you can preserve your life. You have knowingly put the noose of death around your neck. Kala Pashena. Pasha is the rope. That's what you have done, Ravana. Oh, by the way, Sitayas Tejasa Dagdham Rama Kopa Prapiditam Dakhyamanam Imam Pashya Purim Sata Pratolikam. Sita Devi's Tejas, the power that she has, and Ramachandra's anger, when they will combine, Dakhyamanam Imam, everything that you see, everything that you have, this entire Lanka, Pashya, see for yourself, Purim, and this whole thing, Dakhya, everything was going to burn down. Now, it's prophetic for sure, and that's what's going to happen in a few chapters. But we are students of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna also warns Arjuna, or answers Arjuna, but warns us that that lust. Now, lust is not just sexual, but lust means this intense attraction for things that originally belong to the Supreme Lord. So this exploitative mentality is called lust, kama. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that anything that impels us to satisfy our own senses separate from the Supreme Lord is called kama. And the opposite is everything that is used for the satisfaction of the Lord's senses is called prema. So this kama is like fuel that feeds a certain fire. Krishna also uses the example of or the analogy of fire to describe lust. And Krishna says it burns everything. Everything that you have is gone by the fire of lust. However, instead of telling Ravana that it is the fire of your lust, he is indirectly telling that it is the fire of Sita Devi's chastity and Ramachandra's anger. And both have been incited because of your lust, which he doesn't say, but it is their chastity. It's glorifying Sita Devi's chastity and Ramachandra's anger. Prapiditam, his distress. Takhyamanam. Now, Ravana, it's not just you. You see all your ministers, your son, your family, your citizens, you are paving the path for all of them to be destroyed. Yeah? Swani, your own, Mitrani, Mantrishcha, Kyatin, Bhratrun, Sutan, Hitan. All of them. Gyati means those form in your own jati. They're all part of your community, clan. Bhogad antarascha lankam cha mam vinashamupanaya. You are bringing about, or do not bring about, na upaman, do not bring about a destruction of everything and everyone. Bhogan daramscha, all your wives, all your pleasures, all the bhogas that you have. So please listen, Ravana. Listen to the words of this servant of Ramachandra. This verse is a verse that we should take and recite as a way of culturing our mind. Satyam Rakshasendra Rakshasarajendra Shrunushva Vachanam Mama Ramadasasya Dutasya Vanarasya Visheshataha. Visheshataha means specially, especially. Although it's used Vanarasya Visheshataha, one should not think that, oh, he's saying Ramadasa Duta Vanarasya Visheshataha, just especially because I'm a Vanara. No, this Visheshata belongs to Ramadasasya because Duta is a messenger. But Ramadasa, who's a Duta, means they have our best welfare at heart. So Visheshata, especially because Ramadasasya. I am a dasa of Ramachandra, but I am saying it for your benefit. In fact, in the entire episode, who is Hanuman? He has not lost anything. From the beginning of Kishkindha Kanda, when Hanuman met Rama and Lakshmana, Sri Rama and Lakshmana, he met them for Sugriva's benefit. He invited them to make friendship with Sugriva for Sugriva's benefit. Then he was part of the search party going in the southern direction for the benefit of Sri Ramachandra. He jumped across the ocean, did all of his reconnaissance for Ramachandra's benefit, met Sita Devi, gave her the ring, and brought happiness in her heart, but it was for her sake and Ramachandra's sake. In all of this, Hanuman is not getting anything for himself. Nothing except the pleasure of service. That's about it. I shouldn't say that's about it, as it's the greatest thing, but that's it. It's something that is innate because of service. And even now, he's sitting in front of Ravana and instructing Ravana for Ravana's benefit, not for his own. What is the benefit for Hanuman? One might say, oh, because if he doesn't listen to Ravana, then his life might be threatened. And he has already told Ravana, I can finish off all of you alone. So there's no benefit for Hanuman, except Ramadasasya, Bhutasya, Vanarasya, Visheshataha, especially because I'm a servant of Ramachandra. I'm saying it for your benefit. Ramachandra is such a personality that he is the creator of all the universes and all the creatures, all the moving and non-moving beings. And he can finish all of them in one shot and create all over again immediately. Sarvan Lokan Susamhritya. Susamhritya. Sabhutan Satcharacharan. Sabhutan, all living beings, Characharan, moving and non-moving. Punarev tatha sramshtum shakto Ramo Mahayashaha. He can destroy and create everyone again. What's the warning for Ravana? You have 10 heads, all of those can go away in a moment. This Ramachandra, you are thinking, Ravana, mere human being. Because it's at the point when Maricha was instructing Ravana that don't mess with Rama. He has come from Ayodhya upon his father sending him to the forest. Ravana had considered in his mind, what kind of Kshatriya is this? He's not even man enough to fight for his own kingdom. Look at me. It's not even my kingdom. I grabbed it away from my brother, Kubera, Vaishravana. That is power. That's what it is. He's such a weakling because his father said something and his stepmother cried. He left a kingdom, put on jute cloth and living like a hermit, walking here and there. He's not even powerful enough. He can't do anything. And that warning Hanuman is giving. That Deva, Sura, Narendreshu, Yaksho Ganeshu, Vidyadhareshu, Sarveshu, Gandharva, Urageshu, Siddheshu, Kinnareshu, Patatrishu, Sarvataha, Sarvabhuteshu, Sarvatra, Sarvakaleshu, Nasti Sa, Yo Ramam Pratiyudhyet, Vishnu Tulya Parakramam. He is Vishnu Tulya Parakramam, that he is equal to Vishnu. He is Vishnu, just say that he is equal to Vishnu. The Devas, the Danavas, the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, the serpents, Uragas, nobody can match him. Your thinking is a human being. Your thinking is ordinary. We are also taught, we think that Although we say God is great, we may not fully understand how great He is. That was Prabhupada's teaching, that don't just say God is great, learn how great. Because when difficulties come, we may not fully, I'm using the word we, one may not fully appreciate the greatness of the Lord by just whose glance, whole bunch of difficulties can be removed. Now, difficulties being removed does not mean that the things that in the world that torment a person will go away. That's a wrong understanding of difficulties going away. It means that one becomes so connected to the Supreme Lord and has so much strength and resources that one can easily cross over the difficulties. The verse in Bhagavatam is, the ocean of material existence, which is deep as sharks, suddenly becomes like water contained in the calf's hoof print. Samashita ye pada pallava plavam. Mahat padam vatsa padam. So there is water. It's not that but difficulties become easily surmountable. So, Ravana, you may say, oh, I am the descendant of Lord Brahma. I'm the great grandson of Brahma. Nothing will happen to me. He has given me benedictions. I have worshipped Lord Shiva. Personally, I went to pick up Kailasha. Then, when Lord Shiva pressed Kailasha down on me, I sang this wonderful praises of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva was very pleased with me. So, nothing will happen to me. As far as Indra, no. So, let me tell you, Ravana, Brahma, Swayambhuscha, Swayambhu Chaturanano va, Rudras, Trinetras, Tripurantako va, Indro, Mahendras, सुरनायको वा त्रातुम न शक्ता युधि राघवम राघव अवध्यम sorry, Ramavadhyam, that if Ramachandra decides to kill Rama Avadhyam Yudhi, if he decides to kill someone in battle, then Brahma, who is Swayambhu, who's such a great personal that he's not born by mother and father, just from the navel of the Lord. Chaturanana, he has four heads, which means he can see in all directions. He is the master of all the Vedas. Huh? Chaturananova, the word here is na shakta. So Lord Brahma does not have the capacity to come between Ramachandra's resolve or decision to kill someone and that person's death. What about Lord Shiva? Rudra, Trinetraha. Lord Shiva can see past, present, and future. Just by opening his third eye, he finished off Cupid. So powerful, free of any lust. Tripurantakaha, he killed Tripura. Tripurari, that's his name. He killed that entire Tripura. Yet he cannot. Indra, Mahendra, Suranayaka is the leader of all the Devatas. Tratum na shakta. They are not able to relieve that person who. Now Hanuman has just learnt this because that crow that Sita Devi told him the story, that crow that was being pursued by Ramachandra's Brahmastra went Trin Lokan Samparikramya Tameva Sharanam Gata. He went through the entire universe and there was nobody who could intervene and protect that crow. He had to come back to Ramachandra's lotus feet. He's just learned this lesson. Hanuman has just heard it from Sita Devi. So he's narrating it back to Ravana. So this Ravana, who heard Hanuman's advice, Heard means it came to his ears. This advice was delivered to Ravana with such expertise and skill. Valmiki gives us how it was done. Sa Saushthavopetad idam Saushtamepad Adinavadinah. Saushtava, very, very perfectly composed, very appropriately expressed. Adinam, without any fear or sense of helplessness from Hanuman, because Hanuman's in a position of strength. Vadinaha, the words that were spoken. Kapir Nishamya, so that was spoken by Hanuman. Nishamya was heard by Ravana. Apratimo apriyam vachaha. Apratima, that which did not bring him delight or which would make him great. Apriyaha, it was very displeasing. Tashananaha, kopa vivrutam lochanaha. Ravana's eyes became tormented by anger, or they were tormenting because of anger. Samadishastasya vadham mahakapehe, and immediately ordered, just kill this great monkey. Vadham, finish him off. So good advice. There's a saying that a person who is arrogant or proud becomes angry when they hear good advice. And that's exactly what happened to Ravana. Next week, we'll find out, does Hanuman actually get killed? Or what happens? We know the pastime. His ministers will intervene, Vibhishana particularly, and not allow Hanuman to be killed. And Vibhishana will quote some reasons why. But that's where this chapter ends. Any questions, thoughts, comments? What a lovely chapter, huh? Good instructions. Audience is quiet.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Shamakant.
The way you were saying, the way you just said right now, wonderful chapter. I felt just by hearing from you, I could feel it. If I had gone through the chapter myself, I couldn't have got it. In fact, I mean, many things came up, like how you said Hanuman has not lost anything. He invited Rama for Sugriva's benefit. He jumped for Rama's benefit. He gave solace to Sita for Sita and Ram's benefit. He did everything for others, and only he got us pleasure of service.
Yes.
And it so connects to the way a true guru, a true well-wisher works. Thank you for throwing light on how to appreciate. Like you were saying, not just God is great, but how God is great. I felt you threw the light on how to be the guru and those who are guiding us. Thank you for that. And
Well, I
I have a
was,
question.
okay.
Please go ahead. I'll ask after your comments.
I said it from the point of view of not just that God is great, but to know how great is important, because that gives a sadhaka the confidence when we hear Rupa Goswami say, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwasa iti, that whatever, this is called Nishchaya, right? Utsaha Nishchaya Nishchaya is such a propelling force, because Utsaha can be there, but without Nishchaya, it does not move forward. The enthusiasm has no movement. So this Nishchaya has to be that, yeah, not that Sri Ramachandra is great, but to know how great is he? Anyone can tell Ramachandra is great. Hanuman is detailing what is that greatness like. So it's to strengthen our enthusiasm. At least Rupa Goswami says that these are all things by which bhakti vardhate, it becomes stronger. And so we want that nishchaya to enter. So we need the specifics of how great, especially when difficulties come. Okay, your
Thank you.
Hare
question.
Krishna.
Go ahead, Shamakun Prabhu. I cut you off in between, so go ahead.
Thank you for elaborating. Very nice. In prior to this, you had also said that the lust, directly from Chaitanya Charitamrita, you had said it's that intense attraction to enjoy and exploit things that belong to Krishna. Most of us in this call know this. And one of the things that we often face is if we have gone to the other side of the spiritual life, where we have found a taste or a partial taste, then it becomes easy to say that this is not for me, this is for Krishna. How how is it that how can we avoid getting into the territory of lust when we have not yet commensurately uh, obtained the taste for either devotional service or attraction to guru or in something?
First, there should be a desire. Without desire, uh, nothing moves. I mean, this whole world is moving on the basis of desire. The question is, in what direction are we moving? Or not we, is a person moving? So one begins with a desire that I want to be on the other side of lust. That's the first thing. Because if a person doesn't desire it, it will not happen. Then with the desire, then the question is, okay, if I have a desire, what is it that will impel me to the other side? It says it's ruchi, katha ruchi. But where does katha ruchi come from? Shushushaya Shraddhadhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. This Shushushaya means that one is sincerely serving Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Shastra is only coming to life because of Guru and Sadhu. Otherwise, we have no access to Shastra. We don't know what part of Shastra to access. Even Shastra exists in Shabda. That's the whole idea. Even now it is in written form, but written is all the realizations of a Sadhu and Guru. Therefore, previously, Shastra existed in sound because without the medium of Sadhu and Guru, Shastra is not accessible. Even now, it has to be accessible, means someone has to speak it. And for them to speak it, there has to be pranipat, pariprashna, sevaya. So it's always, the answer always points to the basic structure of sadhana given by Srila Prabhupada and our Guru and our parampara. The nectar of instruction gives us that there are 6 favorable, 6 unfavorable for bhakti. And one follows that. In small steps, maybe, but we follow that. We try. Then all one has to have is, a little bit of taste that impels one further. But one shouldn't expect. Generally, a sadhaka expects like miraculous transformations. Because we read, Murugari met Narada Muni once and that was it. But the transformation necessarily isn't like that, it's gradual. So we shouldn't expect instantaneous miracles. We should only look for small victories and build on those small victories. Many people give up because, so many lifetimes. How am I going to? But we don't see that in the present, something is there, some force by Krishna, we call it grace, that grace is such that we are in the company of devotees. We have access to the holy name and the scriptures and the sadhus. The movement might be small increment right now. So we always have a view from where we started. Then I can't see movement between today and tomorrow, but I can see movement between today and 10 years ago, today and 5 years ago, today and 20 years ago. So there is movement. May not be as. So that's one. Second, one should expect the curve to have local maximas and local minimas too. The curve is always like this. There's an instruction by Krishna to Uddhava in the 11th canto that failure is part of one's success. It's there in the curve, in the journey. And it's okay, it's there. So it's all about expectation. We expect a smooth curve. Never like that. Never. So one should not give up. Whatever is the case, one should not give up. That's what I have to offer you today, Shyam Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Someone else said Hare Krishna and we interrupted you. Somebody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is recollection now.
Yes.
This is regarding the topic that you mentioned about how great God is, one should understand. And in times of trouble, have faith that the God will protect, so to speak. But then sometimes in my case, I feel like, yeah, God is really great, but I'm not worthy of his protection, or my sadhana is not that stellar that he may intervene or protect. So how do I deal with such situation?
So once I had written to my spiritual master something not exactly similar, that, oh, I'm so fallen that, I have no eligibility even to chant the holy name. I thought it was a humble expression, and he wrote back, this is not humility. It is a shadow of humility. Humility exists when, knowing your disqualification, it should impel you to be under therefore you should be under the shelter of the Supreme Lord. That, oh, my sadhana is not so good, or why would the Supreme Lord even look at me? Well, that is his nature. We may not see that way, but that is his nature. His nature is that he's very, very loving. He's very kind. Now, it does not mean that the difficulty has to go away. It doesn't mean that at all. Sometimes people have that idea, oh, God is very great. I have this difficulty. So when I pray, the difficulty goes away. That's not true. There's no rule like that. In some cases, sometimes it will, in some cases it won't. But what is assured that his company, his presence is assured. Because when his presence is there, then a person feels strong. A person feels nourished. And one is meant to keep looking for his presence, not necessarily the outcomes of it. If that were the case, the Pandavas would never go to the forest. Draupadi would never have been disrobed. But that's not the idea. The idea is always finding the hand of Krishna, the fingerprint. Somewhere I said that it is our job that every day, Krishna is a thief, right? So we're going to turn to Krishna for a moment. Krishna is a thief. And he steals. But he's not such a good thief. He leaves fingerprints everywhere. And as a sadhaka, we are meant to take on our magnifying glass. It is called scripture, sadhana. And every day we search and we find his fingerprints. It's there in our life every day. he leaves behind fingerprints. That's what we search for. It's not necessarily the difficulty. Difficulty may become bigger if this or that, but feeling his presence is the greatest strength and his mercy. Another, whatever is the situation, we may be seeing from the worldly movement of things as, oh, that problem got solved this way. But we may not be able to see how we are evolving spiritually, because that is what he's interested in, that our connection with him is stronger. So those are pieces that we hold on to, not necessarily the external changes or shifts. So I over answered your question, but it's important to
Thank
see
you so
that.
much, Prabhuji.
Another way, I may be very small, insignificant, my sadhana is not strong enough. In fact, why should he even look at me? It may be true. Why should he? Then we hold on to, because the sadhus, the great acharyas, Prabhupada, our spiritual master, they have taken me under their wing. It is then because of their connection, I'm also getting their mercy, or the Supreme Lord's mercy, not on my own. I have nothing that will attract his attention. True. Therefore, it is the greatness of those persons who have taken me at their feet. Srila Prabhupada and the great acharyas, they all come again and again. And our own spiritual master, it is that spiritual master who tells the Supreme Lord, this living entity on your behalf, I am taking care of. And therefore the mercy extends to us. So we always look to the greatness of our gurus. Therefore we are assured. May not be on my strength or our strength. Okay?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Okay, 9:30. Any final burning question? Otherwise, I have a working day. I gotta run. Okay, thank you very much. Sri Hanumanji is the greatest instructor, and he is urging Ravana and urging the Ravana within us to hear his message. Ramadasasya Dutasya Vanarasya Visheshataha. Especially pay attention. He's telling the Ravana, pay attention. Don't rely on your previous dharma. Don't rely on your own strength. And don't rely on your arrogance. But look to how you have crossed the boundary of dharma and get back to living within the boundaries of dharma. Then you have the greatest blessings of the Lord. Otherwise, Sita's chastity, Ramachandra's anger will completely burn everything that you have accumulated and collected. May Shri Hanumanji inspire us, instruct us, warn us, protect us, guide us, protect us, shelter us, nudge us, poke us, and in any ways, remind us of the wonderful, wonderful ways in which we can, in various degrees, return Sita Devi back to Sri Ramachandra. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada.